Well, thank you very much. I must say that personally I am very honored to be here for many reasons. And yes, Gerb has been a wonderful neighbor. And I was just sharing with my ladies here that since I moved my business to this building has been like a switch, turned into a wonderful positive things happening in my life and in my business. And when I used to work for Grand Rapids Ballet, we were downstairs in the basement, and now the cycle has turned around and I'm back in here, and it's truly amazing. But anyway, so with that said, I guess what I'll do is do a little introduction of who I am, what I do. I'd love questions if you have them. And based on my name, Armentality, is obviously a little trick because my last name is Armenta, and having the mentality of the things that I do, I figure once I cross my 40s, I kind of can do a little bit more of presenting who I truly am. And so a lot of the things that I do has to do with movement. So I would like to call myself a movement expert. And that applies as far as dancing and a lot of holistic disciplines that I kind of mix and match with my work. Besides having the studio, I also have a dance company, and we focus on doing a little bit of ethnic dance mixed with contemporary techniques. And although they are different entities, what I like to do is kind of tweak it and combine things. My dance company is Laura Armenta Dance Company, again, using my name again. I feel brave to do that. And so the conclusion is the Armentality as far as everything that I like to put my hands on. Movement, as far as what I present on stage, is kind of like something joyful to look at, something colorful. I like working with a lot of diversity, and Middle Eastern dance, Indian dance, African dance is kind of unique, especially for West Michigan. And at the same time, it's kind of especially for winter time, that colorful rainbow upbeat music that we use for dark gray winter days to come. But what I have found through now 27 years of doing what I do is that the concept of dance itself is not an elite. What I like to do is give dance to all kinds of audience, and ideally and hopefully give that to my students and have people exposed to the experience of dancing, not only to have the ambition of being on stage, but to really experience what your body can do without expecting it to be fancy or sophisticated, just for the joy of movement. And going back through who I am, a lot of the things that I do and getting into holistic disciplines that I blend with my dancing came about because back in '91, I had a knee surgery, and me being a very inquisitive and kind of not trusting people right away, I was working at a dance company in Mexico City, that's where I'm from, and the doctor at the time that was supposed to be a specialist for dancers gave me the wrong treatment. And basically a lot of the things that happened were not good for me. So I tore my ligaments, and he said basically that's it, you're going to have metal pins, your leg would have limited range of motion, so if you don't have a full extension, obviously there is no dancing. Previous to that, I used to run and do track and field, and obviously that was kind of forget about running, because if there is no full extension, your hip is going to be crooked and all that. And I was like, I don't think so. I was 21, and of course I was devastated. But it's one of those things that you don't know when that big storm is hitting you. Eventually, if you overcome it, life and light will come back. And so it took me 8 doctors questioning and inquiring, and can you fix me? Can you fix me? Every single one of those 8 doctors found something different. Of course, technology back in the day, this is '91, it was not as advanced as it is now. Now we have arthroscopy and all those magic things that they can do. back in the day, it was big open surgery and they chopped my leg and blah, blah, blah. But the wonderful thing is that I did find a doctor that said, a lot of the things that you have going are severe, is serious, but we can help you, we can fix it. And before whatever they do now, which are the grafts that they have tendons, he actually took a section of my hamstring to replace my ligament so I do have full range of motion and I can jump and I can run. And I'm 43 now and I can still jump with my young kids and everything. And so through the process of going through physical therapy, recovering, and me being completely stubborn, saying, I want to be a dancer and this is not going to stop me. In fact, within a year and a half, I was back on stage and training and doing whatever I had to do. The wonderful thing is that through this process, I met friends, physical therapists that guided me through something new in my life, and that was the introduction to holistic disciplines like Feldenkrais, body-mind movement, yoga, and Tai Chi. And all of those things that as a dancer with my ego to the top saying, I'm a dancer, you know, it's like I know it all. And when you're young, you actually think you know it all. It was from here to down, in basically 1 week, my life collapsed. They fired me from the dance company because they didn't want to continue paying the insurance. Therefore, with no money, I had no money to pay my rent. Life was horrible. And then thanks to that, besides just being a dancer, I'm thinking, okay, my body is not the same anymore, but I want to dance. So I became a choreographer and I became the director of my own company because nobody would hire me. So then I decided to become an entrepreneur. And that was a beautiful thing because years later of bills and having overheads and learning as I go, I think I'm in a way better place now, and that's one of the reasons why I love this building, because it's magical. Everything about it is perfect. And so, of course, all of these things didn't happen overnight. Not only the learning of the entrepreneurship, but the process of what is it that I want to do? And I decided, okay, yes, I want to be a dancer, but as I have learned in the process of me recovering physically and emotionally through this, I realized that obviously I like talking, I like teaching, and I think in order to stay in business, in whatever the type of business that I do, in this case I am a dancer, so I have to move, but I realized that in general people have that limitation, and it could be at the same time a little fear of, you know, I gotta sit down and I do my job and I'm at the desk and I have to drive. But if you really have active movement, you will be in whatever business that you choose to be at, actively. And what I was sharing here, dancers that do ballet and they destroy their feet, basically by age 30, they're done, especially ballerinas. So if you want to stay in your business as a, I don't know, an accountant, an attorney, having a physical body that is always active and functional will make you be in business for extra 20, 30 years. Because I want to be able to maybe be 90, 95 and tie my shoes without help. Or getting in and out of my car without holding on to something. And those are the things that I like to share with my students and at my business and with the presentations that I do. Encouraging people to love who they are and respect what they have. And this that we have today is the one and only thing that we truly will have forever. Whether you are barefoot with shoes, fancy anything, jewelry, truly this tendons, this kneecap, these eyeballs are the only things we have. And so me loving to talk and loving to teach and loving to move, I like encouraging people to understand that dancing is not a privilege or luxury. Is dancing as a dance of life and the movement, the body mechanics that make you be functional all the way around. And so the things that I offer at the studio is, yes, recreational dancing, but I do a lot of like body conditioning and yoga, and it's open to everybody that wants to actually have that intention of what is it to breathe and enjoy a nice, slow, deep breath. Be able to read the things that happen in your body so that when your shoulder knocks at the door and says, ooh, I have this pinch, don't don't take a pill immediately, so have that awareness to see, oh, what is it? Where is it coming from? Is it a mechanical movement that I do constantly that is probably not well performed? So my job is to, I work with a lot of golfers because that swing messes up the hip, lumbar spine, so if you don't have a good core, things go south really fast. So whatever it is that you want to do in life, play tennis, play with your grandkids, whatever. If you have a boy that is 10 to 15 pounds heavy and you pick them up without having that proper function of your body, eventually, the back, the shoulder. A lot of women, when they're pregnant, they have this deal going. So what's the proper alignment for the hips? Everything that we do requires movement. So I like to work in guiding people in how to discover their bodies all over again. And to having that awareness of, maybe, yes, I just had a little cake. How many calories are in there? How much sugar is in it? Not to be obsessive about it, but what is it that I need to do in exchange for that to not be so damaging for me? Having the sense of what it is to truly be a holistic citizen, have that awareness of what I eat, what I say, what I think, how I breathe, how I carry myself, is the complete entity of who we are, and therefore how we interact with one another. And it sounds a little maybe witchy-crafty, but what I find is a little simple is just look in the mirror, oh, I'm crooked, why? Or maybe you can look in the mirror and never even be aware that you're crooked. Standing and there is always a little something. How many times you are chit-chatting with people and you end up doing, oh yeah, and you have the tendency to always do this. 10 years from now, you're gonna be like, I don't know why I have this hip problem. And you really don't have the awareness of what it is and how you're presenting yourselves and what are the things that you do in daily basis. In this case, how many of you take the stairs instead of the elevator every day? Huh? Good. So those are the kinds of things that I like doing, working, again, the joy of dance, seeing it, enjoying it, practicing it, anything movement. So I am obsessed about sharing that passion that I discovered through having all this thing with my knee, and now after compensating with my knee, I developed scoliosis myself because I was crooked and I didn't know any better. So it has been a very interesting process to discover things. I do yoga Thai massage. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's a branch of Ayurvedic medicine, Indian medicine. And I combine that as well with a lot of my dance training and figuring out, let's say I have people that want to be vegetarian. But even so, not all vegetables are good for the type of body that you might have. Some people might want to be vegetarians, but actually their body types needs meat. So all of those things that are important to learn who you are. I guess my invitation to my students and to whoever comes and see us in a presentation is, do you know who you are? Do you know who you want to be? And I have students, my oldest student is actually 92, which I'm really excited, Alice, she is precious. And my youngest is 8. I no longer work with little ones. I have 3 kids at home now. That drives me crazy. So having little kids in my classes would be too much of giving energy for little ones. But the range of motion of the things that I do is really unlimited. Teaching new generations of developing that awareness of who they are, especially ladies that are transforming their bodies, or anybody past 40 when they begin to feel things changing. I have a couple dancers right now in my dance company that are under 25, and one of them is a nurse, but she smokes terribly, like constantly. And I told her, you know better, you work at the hospital telling people not to do the things that you do. But because she's 25, it's like, oh, this affects them, not me. And it's this little mind switch, the games that we play with ourselves of, it will happen to others, never to me. And so I invite them to have that consciousness of whatever it is that you choose to do with your life day by day has consequences. And it is up to you to make sure that those consequences will be positive, because you are in charge. You should be in charge. I don't always take the stairs, and I just feel guilty because I'm thinking, oh, I actually had the time and I didn't do it. But then I can justify that I do maybe squats and stuff later. But it's just the little games that we do. Thanksgiving is coming up, and what are we going to do about it? I don't mind eating. I love eating. In fact, I feel bad because I ate before I came. I didn't know I was going to have lunch. But I do love steak. And I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to totally go for the feast, boom, Thanksgiving. What's before and after? You know, walking, I don't know, even right now, all of you could maybe have good posture in your chair. Nice breath through your nose. How many of you actually breathe through your nose instead of your mouth? Those kinds of things matter, because the air that you take from your mouth goes more into your stomach. The nose, directly into your lungs, expanding into your bloodstream. All of those things that matter. Movement, adjustment. Here we are. How's that? Any questions? Talk to me. I talk fast and I talk too much, so if you don't stop me, I will continue.
What brought you to Grand Rapids from Mexico City?
Oh, the magic question. I was born and raised in Mexico City. Moved to the States in '95, but I was first in Washington, D.C., and in New York City, all that through dancing. After my knee surgery, and when that company fired me and life was done, obviously the limitation in Mexico is amazing, because there were only 3 main dance companies, and basically I kind of did what I had to do. And if I wanted to stay in the business and actually make a living with what I was doing, I couldn't stay there anymore. You see, the things that I do here, which compared to an attorney or a doctor, obviously being a dancer and the things that I do, I'm never going to be a millionaire, and retirement is just pennies. But that is still way better than if I was in Mexico. And I'm thinking, well, if this is really what I want to do, and to honor my craft and to honor my passion, I moved to New York City to pursue more dancing. I trained there at the Alvin Alley Dance Company. And then from there I connected with people in Detroit. I lived in the Detroit area for a while until I got my deal with Grand Rapids Ballet. And so I moved to Grand Rapids at the end of '98. And then I think this place is magic, because everybody that I know that is not from here didn't really have the plan to stay, and here we are. So little by little, it kind of grew in me. And Grand Rapids has a great potential for so many wonderful things. It's like a big egg that is hatching with all the wonderful things that, I love the symphony and the opera. Being in Detroit area, I was like, really? There is no ballet company here. And West Michigan altogether is just gorgeous. I decided to stay here because I love going to the beach, and it's right straight shot. What else? Yes.
You have various programs. I hear you talk about dance, and you have some dance students and some other kinds of programs, I guess.
Yes, I do a couple different types of yoga. One of the yoga programs that I do is adaptive yoga, and I don't know if any of you have ever done yoga or attempt to do yoga. It seems like in the past 10 years, yoga became like the big hoo-ha and is everywhere. And I do invite you to be careful with that, because the reason why I call it adaptive yoga is because I like to tailor the things that I do to whoever comes to me. Because there is a great tendency that because the big master somewhere said that it has to be this way, therefore you need to fit into that flow, into that technique. And everybody's different. Everybody's body is different. Your history emotional makes you be different, even from who you were a week ago. So my classes are more tailored to small groups. I get to know you, and besides whatever you tell me, once I see you moving, I can say, oh, well, you might need a little bit more neck business here. Somebody over here might have the hip problem. So what I do is, through whoever is in, I mix and match with what I know they need. So I adapt my class to my students instead of you have to do this push-ups and this big extension. And I have experienced teachers in which, like, if you don't have the perfect alignment, then you are not good. And I'm like, no, this is not about me pleasing you. It's about me improving my body. And so that's why I like to cater to my students. We also do what I call full mighty conditioning. And it's a name that it came about. Some of my students said that it was full of everything and very mighty, so it just stays like that, full mighty conditioning. And that integrates a little bit of Tai Chi, a little bit of dance. We do some weights. We have those big exercise balls. I think they call it physio balls, Swiss balls. And each class is a little bit different. Same, we take care of core, lots of breathing, stretching, but we mix and match. There is also a dance class that I do on Thursday mornings, is dancing on the ball. Those same big balls, and we do Bollywood, which is Indian dance, and some Middle Eastern, and you're bouncing on it so that there's no impact on the knee or the joint, and you groove it. And it's probably a little bit more social than fitness, but it's great. I love my ladies. I have a couple ladies that have hip replacement, knee replacement, all kinds of issues, MS, fibromyalgia, and it's just for the sake of keeping active, being there. My lady that has MS, she's supposed to have a walker, she has a cane, and she probably has this driven spirit to not let MS take over her life, and she's constantly exercising. We go to the pool together because I also do water conditioning, not here, but at the Wealthy Pool. And it's really amazing to see that no matter what, she gets up in the morning and she goes and does her thing. And I'm thinking, okay, even on my bad day, I probably would not have the pain that she feels, and she's still here. And it's truly an inspiration. I like learning from the people I know, the people I work with, because truly, a bad day for me is never going to be like when MS is taking all over your body. So it's a beautiful thing to share and exchange. Yes.
How do you make contact with your students that come to you? Or do you advertise? Are they referred? Word of mouth?
It's a combination, and in fact, since I moved here, I really haven't done much advertising. When I moved to this building, I was in the process of moving out of Michigan. My life was a mess, and I was like, done. I had a previous location for 8 so years, and I'm thinking, I'm done. And then when I moved here, I decided to just go baby steps. I used to have employees. I no longer, I just do my thing, that's it. And I figured, I think word of mouth is probably better than anything, because there is a referral of someone that has experienced it. As far as the other option, I do mass mailing that I do online. Gerb is going to teach me to do more like Facebook and magical online things, because I'm not too technical. But I used to have magazines and this and that, and I realized that is money going nowhere, because there is no guarantee that anybody's going to read that ad and call me. So I think as it is now, it's a small group that I work with, no more than 10 people per class, and just make it happen. Thankfully, even if my groups are very small, I have students that have been with me very much since day one that I moved to Grand Rapids. A couple of them actually that have left me for 2-3 years and came back because they haven't found anything as good. Who else?
They got a tutu for you.
Yes. Oh, speaking of tutus, not precisely, but on Monday, exactly a week from today, we have a performance at the studio at 6 p.m. I am collaborating with my friend Nancy Steltman, and she is a cellist that retired from the symphony a couple of years ago, and she is promoting her, I think, first or second CD. It's an independent production that she's doing, and so part of the promotion, we're doing 3 different performances, and one of them is on Monday at 6 p.m. So she'll be playing her cello, and me and one of my dance company members will be performing, and that is, I think it's just 6 to 7 with good refreshments for afterwards. Come and cheer and dance maybe. One of the things that I like to do, just so you know, in case you do come, probably not this Monday, but I also have another performance on the 15th, so it's Friday next week, and that's more like with African drums and such. When I perform, in order to make it interactive, I like saying questions and stuff on how you do this and that type of thing. But I like closing my performances with an interactive dance in which I come and get you and you come and join and dance with me. So if you ever do come, which I hope you do, one thing you need to know about me, which is killing me, everything I do is barefoot. I don't like shoes. So be ready to take your shoes off and dance and groove.
Send her.
No, but I do bring people to dance with me. Some of the presentations we do are like for grown-ups, and some others that is specifically for children. I work for the Caledonia School District, Rockford School District, and we have once a month a performance at the Children's Museum, the second Saturday of every month at 2. So if you want to have grandkids, kids to come, we will be there, whatever the date is, on the Saturday at 2 o'clock.
Great.
Yeah?
Great. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you very much.